I, 32 female, have been with Kyle, 37 male, for 2.5 years. We got engaged 6 months ago. Kyle has been divorced for over 5 years. He was married to Elena, 37 female. They have a son, Grayson, pre-tween. Elena has a toddler from a guy she met after her divorce and dated briefly, Ella, toddler female. Grayson is a wonderful little kid. He has his room in our house, and we all love him. Kyle and Elena are good friends and co-parenting works. The problem I have is she's everywhere. Besides the holidays and birthdays, which I understand, Christmas, Grayson's birthday, Thanksgiving, Elena and her baby are pretty much invited to any family functions, such as Kyle's birthday, Kyle's parents' anniversary, my birthday. Yes, Kyle invited her to my birthday, our camping trips. I've talked to Kyle many times, but he thinks I'm being insecure for no reason and making a big deal about nothing. I booked a trip to Mexico for Kyle, Grayson, and me. Kyle told Elena we would have Grayson for an extra week since he's coming with us to Mexico. Apparently, Elena managed to ask him about our trip dates and details. She was posting on Facebook about swimsuit shopping for her upcoming trip. Kyle texted her and asked if she was also going somewhere that week. She said she researched our hotel, and I took advantage of the same deal as you guys. So I guess we'll see you there. Ha ha. I told Kyle that we were canceling the trip, and he said he couldn't because the tickets are non-refundable. I told him then I wasn't going. I wanted to have a family vacation without his ex-wife for once. I want a family vacation, but Kyle thinks there's nothing we can do now. We must address this for future plans and be clearer about boundaries. Am I the idiot for canceling the trip? Not the idiot. There's good co-parenting, and there's this. It's nice that they're friends, that they and you are great with Grayson, but not getting any alone time will drive you apart. And Elena's reveling in it. Elena's a single mom and probably wants to get back with Kyle. This isn't right. Your boyfriend is not looking after you properly. He needs to buck up, or this won't work for you and Kyle. Kyle basically has 2 wives at this point. OP needs to put her foot down, and he needs to grow a spine. My husband's ex would show up right after we left for work at 6 a.m. She would bring me donuts, start cleaning and folding the kids' clothes, and then ask me about my intentions with her ex-husband, since they're still united in effort, blah, blah, blah. It was bizarre, but the donuts were nice, and she cleans well. OP, this is not co-parenting, it's codependent. No ex-wife wants to be with her ex-husband that much, unless she doesn't want to be an ex anymore. She doesn't need to get him back. She's never left. OP, so that you know, he invited her. He will not stand up for you. He will let his ex do whatever she wants. But yeah, my guess is he wants her there. A very charitable explanation is that he wants on-site babysitting so they can have more alone time. I also made that sentence ambiguous because I'm not sure who he wants there as the babysitter and who he wants to sneak more alone time with. Ha ha, so true. The question is, why does Kyle not want her to leave? Because Kyle has 2 women competing for his attention. He loves it. Honestly, I'd have tapped out of this relationship when he invited her to your birthday. That's some BS. Either she changes her plans, or you cancel yours and break up with him. I'm not sure which, you or him, are the most clueless. I'm betting on you. He knows exactly what he's doing. It's time to move on and find a man who's for you. I'm surprised you've lasted this long being the side piece. A good idea is to contact Elena's toddler's dad and ask why he left. The answer might be, well, I caught her cheating with her ex, and maybe the baby daughter wasn't mine. The only one who escaped is the toddler's dad, maybe following his lead. I do not know how you could put up with this nonsense for so long. Sis, shut this BS down now. Update number 1. Am I the idiot for canceling a trip because my fiance's ex and her baby are coming? First of all, thank you for your support. Kyle came home late last night since he was working on a project with his coworker. He saw me awake and was surprised and asked, "Is everything okay?" I said we need to talk. I told him that he needed to tell Elena to cancel her trip and establish boundaries, or we would be done. He said, "Oh my God, are you still on this?" I said I'd talk to her for future events. Let it go, for goodness sake. I said, "No, this has been my life since we met. She and her baby are always in my hair. I get upset. You convinced me to let it go this time, and then it happens again." I reminded him that we hosted Elena's baby's birthday last June in our backyard and paid for and did everything, and you told me to let it go. Where's the limit? Will she be invited to our wedding and be in the bridal party? Will she be on our honeymoon? Will she be in the delivery room when I give birth? He said, "We're both tired. Why don't we talk tomorrow?" I told him I can't wait until then. Will you ask Elena to cancel her trip and tell her about my boundaries? He said, "I can't make her do anything if she's no longer my wife. I can tell her you don't like her and can't stand her. Happy?" I said, "I don't feel like I ever will be your wife. She's more your wife than I'll ever be. She doesn't like to put out, so you got me for that. That's how I feel. I feel so unloved. If we break up and Elena takes you back, would you get back together with her?" He said, "Stop. You know how much I love you. Why are you saying this nonsense?" I asked again and again. He said, "What do you want me to say? If I'm single, will I work things out with Elena? I guess." I got my answer. I gave him the ring and said, "I'll leave tomorrow morning." He said, "What? Are you serious? What is going on tonight?" He started saying how we would get married and have babies. He knows I left my previous boyfriend because he didn't want to get married and begged me not to leave before the holidays. He suggested staying and starting counseling in January. I told him, I don't have energy or time for this. He started crying. I was awake all night, crying on and off. In the morning, he made me breakfast, hugged me so uncomfortably, and said, "Please don't end it permanently. Let's be in touch and work on our relationship." I told him, "No, I just can't. Sorry." Again, he cried and left for work. I talked to my brother in the morning, and he and his girlfriend will let me stay with them until I find my place. I wrapped the Christmas gifts, mostly for Grayson and him, and left them under the tree so they could open them on Christmas morning. He asked if I'd at least join them for Christmas morning. I said no. As for the tickets, they were on my credit card. I'll call Air Canada today to see if I can transfer them to my brother and his girlfriend. I'm so grateful for them letting me stay at their place. OMG, he legit wanted to paint you as the bad guy and say you didn't like her instead of telling her that she was overstepping. Wow, OP. I'm calling it now. He'll get back together with her. Heal yourself from this relationship so you'll never accept crumbs for a relationship. Wondering how his ex would react. LOL, I was thinking the same thing. She may be like, oh darn, I was just having fun stringing him on a bit and screwing with them, but now that OP has dumped him, he's going to be all up in my butt 24/7. She may be getting exactly what she deserves too. I asked again and again. He said, what do you want me to say? If I'm single, will I work things out with Elena? I guess. OMG, I'm thrilled you nailed this before a wedding or a pregnancy. You were indeed just going to be third wheeling in their prefab world. You deserve better. The fact that he wouldn't even say no to will she be at our honeymoon and will she be in the delivery room when I give birth is so incredibly telling about the kind of idiot he is. Seriously, imagine being the other woman in your own marriage. I shudder to think about it. Update number 2. Am I the idiot for canceling a trip because my fiance's ex and her baby are coming? Thank you for all the kind words, LOL. For 2.5 years, I was told I was overreacting. I was crazy. I was extra sensitive. After I read the replies, I realized I was right. Elena cut her family out of her life since she doesn't get along with them. She doesn't get along with her friends or her coworkers. She gets along with Kyle because he keeps accommodating her so she won't get upset and Grayson will be happy. She gets along with me because I bit my tongue and always said, okay. I suddenly saw my future, and I hated it. I can't do it anymore. My brother and his girlfriend let me stay with them until I find my place, hopefully soon. I packed my clothes and stuff, canceled the subscriptions, Netflix, Disney, etc., that were under my credit card, wrapped and left the gifts under the tree so they could open it on Christmas morning without me. Transferred half of the rent and utilities for the month. My brother will pick up my stuff later, like my books. I bought a few things for the house. Should I take them? Or is it his now since I bought it for the house, and it's his house now? I bought an air fryer, Instant Pot, and Dyson vacuum. Anything else I should do? You didn't buy those appliances for the house itself. They weren't installed. You bought them for the household. And now that the household is no more, they revert to you. Take anything you bought with your own money. You're going to need them at your new place. Make sure to get your mail forwarded to a new address or put it on hold. It might be a good idea to cancel the current cards and reissue with a new number. Your card may be saved somewhere you don't realize and could get used by your ex, either maliciously or innocently. So, possibly, Elena's going on a trip by herself with a toddler. Ha! Oh, the irony. Curious, is he still going on that trip with his ex? How did the relationship end? Was it a big fight or just a mutual thing because it's just over? I guess he might join them. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm going to transfer our tickets under my CC to my brother and his girlfriend. The relationship ended with no fight at all. There were a lot of tears though, but it ended with a hug. He still asked me to reconsider and stay friends, which I said I really couldn't, and I needed space. He cried again. Oh well. I, 40 female, have 4 kids, 3 daughters, 2 teens and a tween, and a son, teen. Only the twins are relevant here. Let's call them John and Judy. John and Judy have been asking their dad and me for permission to get a tattoo for a few months. Both hubby and I are inked, so we weren't against it. We just asked them to think about what exactly they want for a few months, so they don't regret it later, and then they can get inked in 2024 with our permission. They presented us with their ideas on January 1st. Judy had a lovely little flower nature motif for her arm. I instantly fell in love with it. The problem was with John's motive. He chose the world serpent from Norse mythology and this tree. The serpent forms a circle around the tree, and Norse runes are inside the circle. I saw it and had to think immediately about white supremacists and their Nordic tattoos. It was an instant no for him. We're white with blonde hair and blue eyes. This tattoo would send the wrong signals. It would be on his arm so everyone could see it if he wore a shirt. John was furious. His dad asked him to compromise by removing the runes from his concept, but John said no. So, no tattoo for him. I made an appointment for my daughter at my tattoo artist, but when I told my husband, he says he wants the twins to get their first tattoos together and that this means something to him. Besides, it would be unfair to John, and he has second thoughts now because maybe they were too young. I disagreed with him. Why should Judy suffer because of her brother's unwillingness to choose something more appropriate? I tried to convince him, but he was adamant. In the end, I thought, screw it. She's getting this tattoo. So I drove her to my studio without telling hubby, and she got her tattoo. My husband was furious when he saw it and called me a massive idiot. He said I broke his trust and undermined his authority. John is giving me the silent treatment. Am I the idiot? His reasons were crap, in my opinion, but he's Judy's dad, and we vowed to always act as a team. You are the idiot. I'm heavily tattooed, and I could not imagine ever letting a 16-year-old get tattooed. Sure, I wanted tattoos at that age, and they would have been so crap, because what you want at 16 usually very much differs from when you're 18. If I saw someone with a Nordic tattoo, my first thought would not be white supremacy. But this is also why kids shouldn't be getting tattoos. Your husband seems to be thinking this through finally, and you went behind their back to do it anyway. My friend laughed when her son asked for a tattoo, then said, Son, you can get that with your own money when you're 18 and only have yourself to blame. This whole story reads like, screw husband and son, her favorite daughter, let's get you inked. OP, I don't like your husband talking about you, undermining his authority, but his reasons were sound. You sure did break his trust. You played favorites with your kids, and you probably undermined the twins' relationship. Although I may agree, your daughter should be allowed to get the tattoo, regardless of your son's choice of tattoo. That's not the point here. The point is that you disrespected your husband. My 33 male, girlfriend 28, and I have been together for almost 4 years, but we only began living together just over a year ago. Prior to living together, we were in a long-distance relationship. I used to send her flowers for special occasions, and sometimes just because I wanted to. I often spent a good deal of money on a dozen roses. She was very grateful and would say how it reminded her of me when she looked at them and made her smile. It might be worth noting that she's never brought me flowers, but that didn't bother me, as it's a bit of a girly thing, no judgment or whatever. But honestly, I could care less about flowers. Anyway, now to the issue at hand. Since living together, I haven't bought her flowers. Honestly, I hadn't really thought to, because I'm right here in the same flat, so she doesn't need a reminder of me. Well, just before Christmas, she bought a Christmas flower arrangement, which I figured was just part of decorating for Christmas. Early January, she threw it out, and in its place appeared another vase of flowers, which I didn't say anything about because she wasn't working. She's a private school teacher and was off for their Christmas holidays, so I figured she was just bored. But I guess they died, and now there's another vase of flowers in its place, and this time it's a dozen roses. I asked her what was up with the roses, and she said she likes flowers, and that as I never buy them anymore, she's decided to get them for herself. I didn't say anything at the time, but this has really got me questioning her. It seems passive-aggressive to go out and buy roses for yourself just to make a point, identical to the arrangements I brought for her. And now every time I walk into the kitchen, I'm hit with how crappy a boyfriend she thinks I am. You are the idiot. Holy projection, Batman. Unless your girlfriend is actually complaining about it, calm down and let her buy her pretty flowers. Not everything is about you. If you feel like a crappy boyfriend for not getting her flowers anymore, then you need to do something about it. Don't sit there and convince yourself she's being passive-aggressive. This, even when she doesn't complain, doesn't guilt him about it, buys her own darn flowers to enjoy, somehow it's still her fault? I literally had an ex tell me I made him feel bad for buying myself flowers after he stopped buying them for me after he moved in. Even though I'd bought myself flowers every week, in addition to any he bought me, the entire time he'd known me. I had an ex like that. When we first started dating, they bought me flowers a couple of times, but then it stopped. Then one year, my sister sent me flowers for my birthday when my ex and I were living together, and he flipped his crap like, "Who's sending you flowers?" I was super resentful of it. I realized I liked having flowers, so I started buying them for myself on rare occasions, and he was resentful of that as well, because I was making him feel like a bad boyfriend. Like, dude, the solution is literally in front of your own face. She's not asking for a Chanel or a Louis Vuitton. She's asking for some flowers or whatever small token it is that makes her feel loved, valued, and appreciated, even if it's just spending time with her watching movies. And for the love of God, lose the "I already have her, so I don't need to keep trying" mentality. You never stop dating your partner, ever.